sensational century from Leicestershire's Australian Andrew McDonald ensured that undefeated Division 2 leaders Northamptonshire didn't have it all their own way on the opening day of their LV County Championship match at Wantage Road. Matthew Hoggard won the toss and batted, but then watched in horror as his side lost 3 quick wickets. Will Jefferson was plumb in front to Jack Brooks after withdrawing his bat. Paul Nixon was caught in 2 minds and played Brooks back on. And the same bowler also did for England Lions' James Taylor, who gloved Brooks behind to leave Leicestershire on 15 for 3 after 14 overs. There was no doubt that Northamptonshire, having a magnificent summer thus far, were once more in the driving seat, but that was quickly altered by McDonald, who came to the wicket and immediately started to put bat to ball with some exquisitely timed shots off front and back foot. The Victorian is good enough to have played 4 test matches for his country, and it wasn't long before he was showing his class in his second spell as Leicestershire's overseas player. Only 15 runs had come off the first 14 overs, but McDonald and Matthew Boyce added 71 in the next 16, as life for the batsman got just that little bit easier. McDonald looked really good, never trying to smash the cover off the ball, just using the pace and placing his shots really well. And that meant that he was able to bring up his 50 off only 51 balls as he slapped Brooks to the covers for his 11th boundary. McDonald had dominated the morning, but no more than Brooks, who claimed his 4th wicket before lunch, Boyce edging to Andrew Hall after making 26. Lunch was taken with Leicestershire on 90 for 4, and that could soon have become 5 down. Brooks was again involved, but this time he didn't have the accuracy with his throw to see the back of Wayne White early in the afternoon session. White had given that up, so he knew that he was on his second life and seemed to play accordingly as he twice hit Brooks to the cover fence in the same over. Runs were starting to come freely with these 2 batsmen at the crease, neither of whom were afraid to play some shots. McDonald had looked good the moment he'd come to the crease and was by now looking in exceptional form. This was just his second match in Leicestershire colours this summer after representing Delhi in the IPL, but you would never have guessed that as he was treating this pitch as if it was a subcontinent featherbed. His quite brilliant 100 came off only 98 balls, the quickest of the summer to date, and 72 of his runs had come in boundaries. Against a side which knows about scoring individual hundreds this year, it was a magnificent effort. Alas for him, he lost White at the other end after he'd made 47 in a superb partnership of 118 in 23 overs. James Middlebrook with the wicket as White flicked him to mid-wicket. But the inspirational McDonald was getting better and better as his innings went on. His third 50 had taken him only 32 deliveries, of which he'd added another 7 fours and a 6 to get there. And he added another maximum to that as he began to look totally unstoppable. But the break for tea did him no favours, as to the first ball after it, he drove at an in-swinger from David Lucas and edged behind to go for 164, made off 140 balls, in which it hit 26 fours and 2 sixes in a breathtaking knock. Without him, Leicestershire may have been in some trouble. His 164 had been made out of a total of 264 for 6, and now it was up to the likes of Jigger Nake to ensure that his efforts weren't wasted. They did their best, but the last few wickets still fell quickly, 3 falling on the same total of 285. Paul Dixie was adjudged to be legged before after missing a sweep off Middlebrook. Nake then drove Lucas to Middlebrook at point, and Hoggard edged the left-arm seamer behind to leave his side on 285 for 9. Thankfully for them, Claude Henderson saw them to a third batting point in a last stand of 28 before he holed out to Brooks, who finished with 5 for 80 for his first 5-wicket haul. Leicestershire owed a debt to their overseas player, who'd hit more than half of their runs as they were all out for 313. They then had 12 overs to bowl at their hosts, time enough for Stephen Peters and Ben Haugago to knock off 32 of those runs. It had been a day dominated by McDonald, and without him, Leicestershire may have been in something of a mess going into the second day, a day when Northamptonshire will again look to their in-form side to bat well to get themselves ahead. They will begin it 281 runs behind.